Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to be invited here, the Atlanta chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. My name is Samuel Jones, and I am a torchbearer. I'm not an original, not quite young enough to be one, or have the experience. But I am a torchbearer, as I said, helping to carry on the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen. Not only the Atlanta chapter, but all of the Tuskegee Airmen, all of the 53 chapters located across the United States. But I'm proud to say we have one of the largest chapters and one of the most active chapters, and of course the best chapter. People dwell on this thing about original Tuskegee Airmen. We're trying to get away from that because pretty soon there won't be any originals. So let's try to get in our mind we are all Tuskegee Airmen. As of this day, think of us as Tuskegee Airmen. And I'd like to introduce, I don't think I have them in any order, but Mr. Jesse Creech, stand up. Mr. Floyd Stanfield, torchbearer and president. Mr. Dick Howard, torchbearer.
Or in the military.
Him saying that, black, white, man, woman, anything, long as you're willing to work and carry on the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen, come out and join us. Next, Miss Tracy Bridges, torchbearer. Next is Michiko Williams. Mr. LaVon Jenkins, torchbearer. And the guest of Mr. Jenkins, stand up and give your name, sir. Gregory Grant, torchbearer. Now we're going to get down to the meat of it. Mr. W. Smith, original. Mr. Hiram Little, torchbearer. Mr. Earl Martin, original. Mr. Val Archer, original. Ms. Sarah Plummer, original. Mr. Leroy Ely, original. Mr. Ray Williams, original. And Ms. Zelly Orr, torchbearer. And our guest photographer, Ms. Brenda Turner. Did I get everybody? Okay, that being out of the way, I'm going to give you a short history of the Tuskegee Airmen. They helped keep the world safe for democracy and proved they could fly airplanes. As America's first black military pilots, they were members of a decorated squadron who proved themselves in battle. Many considered them heroes, but that didn't allow them to escape the second-class status to which Negroes in the 1940s were subjected, especially in the South. Returning to a country in which whites discriminated against blacks disturbed the black officers and military professionals who served overseas. They became part of the fuel that ignited the modern civil rights movement. Despite segregation, the historically black Tuskegee Institute received a contract from the military and provided primary flight training while the Army built a separate segregated base, Tuskegee Army Airfield, for advanced training. Black men from all over the country heeded the world the call to become military pilots. From 1942 to 1946, 994 black pilots graduated at the Tuskegee Army Airfield, known as Moulton Field in Alabama, near Tuskegee Institute. Lieutenant Colonel Noel F. Parrish, the white base commander, worked to lessen the impact of segregation on the cadets. Of those graduates, 450 served overseas in an all-black squadrons. The first Tuskegee classes trained to be fighter pilots were formed into the famous 99th Fighter Squadron, a segregated unit slated for combat duty in North Africa. Additional pilots were assigned to the 332nd Fighter Group, which flew missions from bases in Italy. The Germans called them Black Birdmen. White U.S. bomber pilots referred to them as red-tailed angels because of the red paint on the tails of their airplane and their record of providing safe passage for the bombers they escorted. The impression of the military establishments and whites was blacks couldn't do the thinking, problem solving, and the mathematics required. The Tuskegee Airmen not only broke the stereotypes that blacks could not fly airplanes, they did it and did it so magnificently. They protected the aircraft they were designated to protect and did not lose the plane. In reality, they exceeded everyone's expectations. When the war began, America did not want them to fly. Before it was over, the Germans did not want them to fly. By the war's end, the Tuskegee Airmen had shot down 111 enemy aircraft and destroyed another 150 on the ground. They disabled more than 600 boxcars, locomotives, and other rolling stock. They sank one German destroyer and 40 other boats and barges. They also flew 200 bomber escort missions against some of the most heavily defended targets in the Third Reich and never lost a bomber to enemy fighters. We wanted to do this because it would show the world we could do anything anybody else could do. The idea was to eliminate the line of distinction based on color. But when they came home, they discovered nothing had changed. Many of these black soldiers returned to the South to segregated communities. Frustrated with what they saw, they joined the NAACP and provided the legal ground challenging Jim Crow. The black soldiers' activism sparked the changes that would take place over the next 2 decades. They were the tip of the spear of the civil rights movement, which would have been a decade or more delayed in starting, if not for them. Once they became active, they were able to apply their military skills in helping to break down the segregation experienced back home. Only about 300 of the original airmen are still alive today, and their numbers have dwindled. The survivors are all in their 80s and 90s, but their achievements are not forgotten. President Bush presented the Tuskegee Airmen the Congressional Gold Medal in 2007, the highest civilian honor for their excellent combat experience, dedication to duty, country, and civil rights activities. Quote one of the airmen, "The Tuskegee Airmen are a classic example of overcoming adversity. You know, we kind of excel." Thank you. I'll give you a little history here. A few pointers. That is, anyone, man or woman, military, civilian, black or white, who served the Tuskegee Army Airfield or in any of the programs stemming from the Tuskegee experience between the years of 1941 and 1949 is considered to be a documented original Tuskegee Airman, or a DOTA, as we say now. There were an estimated 19,000 persons in the above category. 14,632 persons have been personally documented by Delopius W. Johnson, a member of our chapter, as of 10/16/05. He notes that 927 American pilot graduates, 5 Haitian pilot graduates, 11 instructor pilot graduates, 51 liaison pilot graduates. Total pilot graduates, 994. There were 44 classes that graduated during the Tuskegee experience. The first class, 42C, graduated 5 pilots, including Captain Benjamin O. Davis, Jr. on March 6, 1942. The last class graduated with 8 graduates, class 46C, with 5 graduates on June 28, 1946. Tuskegee Airmen airfield closed August 20, 1946. 450 pilots deployed overseas for combat duty. 150 pilots lost their lives in training in combat. 66 pilots lost their lives in combat. 32 pilots were down or captured as POWs. Total missions flown were 1,578. Total combat sorties were 15,533. Total aerial kills were 112. The combat awards were 3 Presidential Unit citations, 1 Legion of Merit awarded to Colonel Benjamin Davis, Jr., 1 Silver Star to Colonel Benjamin Davis, Jr., 1 Soldier Medal, 150 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 8 Purple Hearts with the correct count pending. 14 Bronze Stars, 744 air medals. And we have other things that we are still looking into. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to turn the program over to Mr. Leroy Ely. He's going to give you an even more insight into it. He is a former instructor.